Hello, hello. So in the previous video, we left off after adding the type command, and now we want to be able to run executables from our shell. So an executable will only work if we have a path variable defined for it, right? So we are assuming that there is a path variable existing for this name, custom exe1234, on Codecrafter's server. This won't work on your machine unless you add a executable path on your machine, and it won't work on Windows because we are separating the path variables on the basis of colons, not semicolons. Windows uses semicolons. So it most probably won't work on your local. You would have to use code crafters for it for this test to pass. Almost everything before it you could have tested on your own local system, but this cannot be tested. At least not for me because I'm using Windows. And if you're using macOS or Linux, you can probably do so. You can probably add a placeholder path for this custom exe1234 in your own local, in your own path variables of your system, and perhaps then you can try to run it locally. But anyways, I'll simply push and let code crafters do the work. Okay, so in this stage, we'll add support for running external programs with arguments. External programs are located in the path environment variable as described in the previous stage. Alright, so they will run our exe and then send this command with this argument. Okay, so uh, in our main class, we are starting the server, and in this server, we are calling command handler dot handle method on the parsed command, right? We get command and commands, all the supported commands. All right. So if commands dot contains key command, then we are good. We're good to go. We can execute it. But if that is not the case, uh, we need to check if it exists in our path variables. And we already added that in our command utils. Like uh, this function will try to find all the paths for this argument in our path variable. And so instead of passing any other command, we can simply pass this command to check inner path variables, and that will return to me a list of strings that will be the paths, right? I'll call it command locations, and I can do command utils dot check command and paths, and now I can pass command dot command, right? So if command locations is empty, command location, I absolutely hate autocomplete. Uh, if it is empty, then we can simply print that. See, it was not a supported command, an inbuilt supported command, and it is not there in our paths as well. Then we cannot do anything with it. We can only print this. But if that is not the case, if commands locations is not empty, in that case I can do something. I can try to execute it, right? From the path from the path variable, I will get to an exe and I'll just execute that exe. And I'll do that in a try catch block because running a process might throw an exception. An external process might throw an exception, and it throws IO exception as well as interrupted exception. So, like so, IO exception, try, interrupted exception, e.print stack trace. And right here, what I'll do is status code. I'll create a method called run executable, and this run executable will take the command and command locations and execute the first command locations from this. Alright, so let me create this method. Create method in command handler. Alright, and if the status code is not equal to 0, I'll just print something for my own sake for to be able to easily debug it. So I'll print this. Alright, it's not required, but anyways. And in here I will throw new runtime exception of E. Alright, now this method must throw IO an interrupted exception. Alright, and in here, if command locations dot size is greater than 1, in that case I also am just printing something for my own sake. We only need to execute the first path in our executables. All right, that's what happens in a shell as well. When multiple paths are resolved for a particular exe, only the first one is executed. So I'll just print that multiple executables were found, like so. And if that is not the case, I need to get first get the first element from the list. That's the path of my executable, and I can get the arguments for it in args is equals to command dot args, like so. And then uh, I need to create a file object in Java out of this path, right? Executable file. So if this file does not exist, if the path variable is incorrect, then I cannot execute it, right? And also, if it is not an executable, in that case also I cannot execute it. If not, executable file dot can execute. In both these cases, I cannot execute it, and I'll return with a error status code that is 1, and I'll print that file cannot be executed. All right, executable file is not executable, not file executable, like so. But if the path exists and the file is an executable, in that case, I will create a process builder. I'll give it the same name as the executable, and I will use something known as a process builder in Java. I didn't know what process builder was at all. I had to Google, so I recommend the same to you, and give it a process name. All right, and now process builder dot command dot add all, and to this I can add process, and to this I can add the args, right? So now it will run the process from this name. All right, and I think process builder goes and finds the path variables on its own as well. That's why we are only passing the process name to it, and then it will go and find the path variable and execute it with these arguments for us. All right, so after this, if the secondary process is doing something with IO, right? If it's printing something to standard output, or if it's taking some input from the standard input, in that case we need to redirect the standard input and output to this process as well. and that can be done with redirect output and process builder redirect error. So if the process faces some error, in that case also I'll see it in my terminal, and if it's giving us some output, in that case also it will be redirected to my own terminal. And then we can start it with uh, process start and then return process dot wait for. All right. So this will start the process and this will block the current running thread until the process completes and then return with the status code from this process. Alright, I think that should be enough. I think so. So let me try. Built successfully. Let's see if we pass the test. So the test passed. Oh, all right. We can move on to the next one. So after this, there are some extensions to the Build Your Own Shell challenge. So right now I've selected all of them and we will be starting with the navigation extension. So basically we will be printing the present working directory and be able to move to directories from the present working directory, like move out, like use cd to move into or cd to move out of different directories. So basically we'll add the pwd command as well as the cd command right here. All right. So echo exit type, we will also have cd and we will also have pwd. And in the stage after that, I think so, we also will need to add the cat command. Anyways, that's it for this one. I'll keep this one short and create another video for navigation. We will solve all of these four challenges because they're not that difficult, to be honest. PWD is quite simple. We just need to print the system dot, I think something, system dot runtime. Like the system class provides us a way to, yeah, it's called system dot get property user dot home, and that will return the present working directory to us on its own. So we'll just use that to print the present working directory, and then cd can simply be uh, implemented by updating the user dot home in system dot get property. So we'll system dot set property user dot home to the directory that we want to change directory to, and that will change the directory for us. Anyways, the important thing about these stages is that we may be given relative paths and we will need to resolve those to absolute canonical paths. Like if the present working directory is C drive के अंदर something user slash chaitanya slash home. Okay, so if the user gives me cd dot slash desktop, so this dot slash desktop means this dot means present working directory. So relatively speaking, the this command, this cd dot desktop is equivalent to this command. So we will need to resolve these paths as well. Also, we will need to take care of, also if we are in this directory and the user sends us this command, that we will need to come out of the directory by one level. So we should end up at this directory now. So we will need to also do that. So those are the only important things that we need to take care of. while navigating the directories. Otherwise, it's quite simple. Anyways, that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.